Just heard the increase in COVID numbers in Victoria, restrictions and an increase in numbers in New South Wales, a much needed boost for the support of people affected by the pandemic. So we're looking at 12.25 million from the federal government, 5.1 million from the New South Wales state government. Can you tell us what is in the package and which organisations do the funds go to?
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. And look, the announcement was really important, and that's working with the federal government, both federal and state, to deliver this mental health package. Look, one thing we really have concentrated on is young people. So we've had an injection into Headspace because we know that particularly that 18 to 24-year age group, they're really affected by the lockdowns and by the fact that they can't see each other and they can't communicate, and they're at that point in their education where things are fairly intense. So what we've done is really injected that money into Headspace, but more importantly too, it's also giving parents and carers the strategies to be able to talk to their young people about how they're feeling and what they're experiencing. The other thing that we've looked at as well is that we have seen a rise in perinatal anxiety and depression, because I think, having a new baby in the middle of a pandemic is really challenging, because all of those support networks that are around you can't visit and sort of wrap that support around. So we've increased funding to the Gidget Foundation, and also with the Tresillian Sleep Well Baby app, which has had a massive uptake, actually 2,500 downloads already. And I actually just had a message from someone who used it and just said it made a huge difference because their baby wasn't sleeping well through the night, and now with the help of that it is. So those things we're really focusing on, and also focusing on people that have to go into isolation, because that also presents a whole new set of challenges. And I think no matter how strong you are and how resilient you're feeling, to go into isolation for 14 days is really, really tough. And look, I speak from personal experience on that as well. So we knew we had to really concentrate on that and not maybe wait for people to contact us, but do a proactive response into people that were having isolation. But look, one thing I really would like to stress with you and all of your listeners is the fact that the best thing we can do is actually help each other and actually reach out and help each other, and help people to maintain that mental fitness, which is as important as our physical fitness. And that's something as simple as reaching out and having a chat, whether it be a text message, whether it be a phone call, whether it be a Zoom drink or a Zoom cup of tea, anything like that, just to be able to reach out to people, because people are really needing that human contact. And it's a difficult time, it's uncertain, and it makes people feel vulnerable.
Yeah, you make some really good points there. And I mean, technology is certainly playing a really positive part during this pandemic with, as you said, having Zoom parties and text messaging people when they are in isolation. Just getting back to when you were in isolation for 14 days, so it firsthand, what got you through those 14 days?
Yeah, it was really tough. And I was really, lucky in the sense that I had a little balcony, and a lady who lived up the road used to come down and sort of have a chat to me over the balcony sometimes. And that actually really helped. But also just knowing that my friends and my family were there, and with my colleagues, we did Zoom catch-ups most evenings, and that was really fun and a good laugh because they were also in isolation, and so we could talk about how we were feeling and what strategies we were using. And I used the time, there's a fellow called Gus Warland who runs Gotcha for Life, and he's a great person, and he did what he's been doing is talking about, look through your contact list and look at people that maybe you haven't spoken to for ages that you'd like to reach out to. So I reached out to a couple of old school friends that I hadn't sort of seen for a while and hadn't been able to talk to, and a really great friend that lives interstate, and we had a really good chat. So I just tried to make sure that I kept working, I kept a routine, I kept my sleep, I did my exercise as I could. And I think those sorts of things were really important for me. But I wouldn't be being truthful if I didn't tell you that, sometimes, and particularly about day 8, I just, it was, I had enough, and you want to go out and you want to just go for a walk, but you can't, because what you have to do is so important. And, you get these reminders from New South Wales Health every morning that the expectation is that you're isolating and that you're doing the right thing. And of course, you do the right thing because the responsibility's on you, but it is really challenging. And I think we have to acknowledge that. So I think lockdown is really difficult. And then there's that next level of all the people that are in self-isolation. And those are big numbers. So we really need to make sure that they're okay. And you know what it's like too, Janie, that if someone actually just acknowledges and says, oh, yes, that's exactly how I'm feeling, it just automatically makes you feel better because it validates how you're feeling as well. So those sort of interactions are really important.
Yeah, it doesn't take much, does it, to pick up the phone and just give somebody a text or give them a phone call. We've got to wrap it up, but I just want to quickly ask you, we have seen so much more awareness and acceptance of mental health over the years. How important is it that people speak their truth, including high-profile people like most recently basketball star Liz Cambage, who just pulled out of the Tokyo Olympics? How important is it?
It means everything, because the more that we can break down the stigma, the more that we can talk about how we're feeling, the better outcomes we're going to get. And I saw that with my boss and the Deputy Premier last year when he was very open about having mental health leave. And that makes such a difference, because that means then that people that look up to you, see people in leadership positions, like what's happened with this Australian athlete, they can go, wow, okay, that they've had the courage to be able to come forward, so can I. And that's exactly what needs to happen.
Bronwyn Taylor, New South Wales Minister for Mental Health, thank you so much for your time and expertise. Stay safe.
Thank you. You too. Thanks again.
And if you or anyone you know is feeling distressed, you can call Lifeline on 13 11 14 or visit the website lifeline.org.au for more support.